Hi, I'm former Eagles punter Sean Landetta, and you're watching CITV.
Hello and welcome to another edition of CITV Sports. I'm Scott Samuel David Weiss. It's Friday, April 28th, 2017. We're at Colonials Stadium at Plymouth Whitemarsh High School in Plymouth Meeting, Pennsylvania for Suburban 1 Continental American Boys Lacrosse featuring the Cheltenham Panthers of Wyncote and the Plymouth Whitemarsh Colonials of Plymouth Meeting. The Panthers come into this matchup 4-7 overall. 0-4 in Suburban 1 Continental American, while the Colonials are 5-7 overall, 3-1 in conference. The Panthers are coached by Mike DePuppo. It is his third season. He is 5-42, while the Colonials are coached by Brian Gregg. In his third season, he's 28-21. Cheltenham will be wearing blue uniforms with gold letters and numbers. Colonials will be wearing white with blue letters and numbers. Cheltenham's last game was on April 26, 2017, a 17-6 home loss against Springfield Monco, in which Tim McHugh had 3 goals for the Panthers. Colin Boyle added 2 scores. Jade Sioho had 1. Daniel Lee was 15 of 22 on face-ups for the Panthers, and Cheltenham's Harvey Miller had 9 saves. Meanwhile, the Colonials lost their last game, lost their last home game. The last game was April 27th, 2017 at Quakertown, defeated the Quakertown Panthers 14-3. PW won at least 11 face-offs. In PW's last home game, which was the day before, April 26th, the Colonials lost 13-8 against defending District 1 champion Upper Dublin. This is PW's third consecutive day of playing a game. It's the first time the Colonials are playing 3 games in 3 days since April 22nd to 24th, 2015, when it defeated Norristown 14-3, defeated Upper Merion 14-3, and lost at Wissahickon 6-4. PW looking to go 2-1 in this 3-day span as well. Right now we are having the traditional handshakes at the center of the field. We'll have 4 12-minute quarters of regulation, and then if we're still tied, there'll be overtime. Cheltenham has played 1 game of overtime, lost 9-8 versus Quakertown on April 21st. PW has been in overtime twice and had been 1-1 in those. In the first half of this game, Cheltenham in the blue uniforms will be going left to right on your screens. PW will be going right to left. Daniel Lee is the face-off expert for Cheltenham. He tends to win over 70% of face-offs, usually. Lee was won 16 of 19 in face-offs, and that's going to be PW possession, and we're underway here in Plymouth Meeting. PW in the white. Cheltenham not known for lacrosse. In fact, in the last 80 games, Cheltenham is 7-73. In fact, in 2016, the Panthers were 0-18. PW with the possession. Dating back to 2005, between these two teams, PW is 17-0 against Panthers. And now that one's going to go out of play. It will be PW possession that was shot by Vince Martina. In front of the cage, defending for Cheltenham is goalie Harvey Miller. He has been a workhorse this season. 1 game, he had 21 saves. Now with the possession is Mike Iannarelli. And that one is going to be out of play. PW gets the possession. It's 0-0 about a minute into this contest. The last time these two teams faced each other was May 6, 2016 in Wyncote. PW won 17-3. Alex Savarus and Brendan Sullivan had 5 goals apiece. 10:50 to go in the first quarter. Cheltenham 0, PW 0. PW at the possession is Brendan Sullivan, now dancing around the cage. There was Kenny Diamond, now Iannarelli, toward the 30-yard line. Iannarelli getting guarded by Daniel Lee. Chris Ward. And that one was floated out of play, and Cheltenham will not get possession. That was tipped by Cheltenham, I think by uniform 28 in blue, Will Felix. Now PW with the possession, going right to left again in white. PW has been to the playoffs, I believe, every season dating back to 2009. Now it's Kenny Diamond. We have 10 minutes to go in the first quarter, no score of the Suburban One Continental American Clash. Cheltenham has given up 126 goals this season. And that one is fired. Harvey Miller cannot chase the goalkeeper for Cheltenham. And it's Brendan Sullivan now. Sullivan to the left of the cage. He'll now go behind. And he guarded by Felix. Mike Iannarelli will shoot it in there. Boom! Shaka-laka! Mike Iannarelli puts it on the board, and it's now Plymouth Whitemarsh 1, Cheltenham 0, with 9:34 to go in the first quarter. The VW for 1-0 lead. The PW, it's its 101st goal of the season, has allowed 93. Now here is the second face-off. PW won the first. Daniel Lee can't win it this time. PW has won both face-offs. PW's in the white. Mike Iannarelli with the first goal of the game. It was with 9:34 to go in this opening quarter. Tim McHugh goes to the sideline for Cheltenham. He is the leading scorer for the Panthers at over 42 goals on the season. When we see Cheltenham in offense, it'll be interesting to see how McHugh does today. However, he is able to bat it down. Harvey Miller is able to bat it down. And now Miller will get it back. And he'll fire past midfield, but he'll be intercepted momentarily by PW. Now the Panthers trying to come up with it, and they do. Here comes Aaron Olzowski behind the cage for PW in white. Now PW going right to left again with possession. 8:20 to go in quarter one. Plymouth Whitemarsh 1, Cheltenham 0. Last season, Cheltenham scored 61 goals, gave up 230. And that doesn't include a 1-0 forfeit loss to Springfield Monco on May 13th of last year. In the previous 17 meetings against Cheltenham, PW has scored 15 or more goals 13 times. Only twice have the Colonials scored single digits. The closest Cheltenham has ever gotten to defeated PW was when PW defeated the Panthers 4-3 in Plymouth meeting April 16, 2008. Plymouth Whitemarsh with possession. Vince Martina now feeds it inside. Oh, that was a good opportunity for Chris Ward to feed it in, but could not. Now it's a battle. Cheltenham trying to get after it by Jade Sioho. And we'll have a switch of players, including Tim McHugh. Uniform 12 in blue and gold. McHugh, I think, will have the possession. In the last 5 games, he had scored 5 or more 3 times, including 7 goals in a 9-8 overtime loss against Quakertown on April 21st. And McHugh puts it, and that is denied. And now that one is muffed. And now here comes Martina. Martina is on Daniel Lee. Now we'll go inside Diamond. And now we'll put it in there. Boom! Shakalaka! Brendan Sullivan gets the best of Harvey Miller with 6:58 to go in the first quarter. It's now Plymouth Whitemarsh 2, Cheltenham 0. Brian Gregg's squad off to a hot start. I believe in one of the matchups from the last few years, PW scored 9 goals in an opening quarter against the Panthers. We have 6:58 to go in the first quarter. Harvey Miller hasn't been as sharp as he has on occasion. Tim McHugh trying to get it, and the Panthers could not win that face-off. PW 3 for 3 so far. Usually Daniel Lee can convert at least 70% of them, but he can't that time. Cheltenham has scored double-digit goals 3 times this season. In fact, when Cheltenham had a 14-5 win at Norristown April 5th, it was the first time since 2011 the Panthers had double-digit goals in a game. Once won 74 consecutive games in single digits. And that one's going to go out of play, Cheltenham possession. Both of these teams are in PWHS AAA for Lacrosse. When the playoffs begin May 16, 2017, 24 to 39 District 1 3A teams will qualify for the playoffs, and right now each team has a lot of work to make up if they want to qualify. Tim McHugh with the possession, and Tim McHugh has more than half of the goals possibly has scored in every game this season. He even scored the lone goal in an 8-1 loss to Wissahickon in Wyncote back on April 7th. Olzovsky had been teasing Jock Fisher. To McHugh again. Will Malley is on McHugh. McHugh will pass it around the 40-yard line back to Daniel Lee. Lee feeds it ahead to Colin Boyle. Boyle has 8 goals in his last 4 games, including 4 goals in a 12-11 win against Conwell Egan on April 17th. And that one's going to be fired through. Boom! Shakalaka! Alex Townsend with the score with 5:13 to go. In quarter 1, it's now Cheltenham within 1. It's PW 2, Cheltenham 1, 5:13 to go in the first quarter. For Townsend, at least his 4th goal of the season, if it's him. It would be his first goal since scoring 2 in the 12-11 win against Conwell Egan on April 17th. That was Cheltenham's last win, and Daniel Lee finally wins a face-off for the Panthers. The Panthers looking to make history, believed to have not ever defeated the Colonials. I believe PW has had boys lacrosse for 13 years now. There's Tim McHugh. McHugh will move ahead. The ball is jarred loose. Nicely done by Ricky Amarim, who right now is orally committed to Providence College, and he's got a few years to go in high school still. Nicely done by Amarim. Scouts will definitely like that, and the coaches down in Rhode Island will love that. Iannarelli, who had the first goal of the game. Iannarelli and Sullivan have the 2 goals for PW. And Harvey Miller will have it. A flag is flown. It'll be a penalty. And it'll be a penalty against Tim McHugh, a slash. 1 minute slash. So PW will be on the man advantage. It will be the first Power play of the contest for either team. No PW on the man advantage. Tim McHugh guilty of slashing. PW looking to go up, back by 2. PW's up 2-1 with 4 minutes to go in the first quarter. Sullivan feeds it through. Boom! Shakalaka. Second goal of the game for Brandon Sullivan. He has PW's last 2 with 3:59 to go in quarter 1. It's Plymouth Whitemarsh in the white uniforms 3. Cheltenham in the blue and gold 1. PW has scored 3 of the first 4. PW has scored double-digit goals against Cheltenham in each of the past 3 meetings. With the goal by Alex Townsend with 5:13 to go in this opening quarter that ended any hope of another shutout. In the previous 17 meetings, PW has shut out Cheltenham 4 times, including 3 in a row in 2010 and 11. And that one was lost in daylight. Daniel Lee trying to get it, but that one is won by James Hahn. PW has won 4 of the 5 first face-offs. That one's going to be bounced. Jade Sioho, uniform 11 in blue and gold, tried to get after it. He could not. Kenny Diamond. And it was Colin Kassan. Now, Brendan Sullivan. Sullivan had a natural hat trick in an 8-6 loss against North Penn this season. That was on CITV April 5th at the Victory Fields. Sioho came up with it. And he put it out of play. Possession PW. PW going now right to left in the white. Cheltenham's Daniel Lee will exit. So will James Hahn. And now that one will go through. Boom! Shaka Laka! Rocco Mazzi. Uniform 14. You don't see him put one in often, but he does that time with 2:55 to go in the first quarter. PW is up 4-1 on the Panthers. Here at Plymouth meeting. We are here at Colonials Stadium because the Plymouth Whitemarsh varsity girls lacrosse team is also home on this April 28th against the Quakertown Panthers. On April 27th, the Lady Colonials finally got their first victory of the season, now 1-8. I believe the Lady Colonials defeated the Cheltenham Lady Panthers 18-6, snapping a 9-game losing streak overall. PW wins the faceoff 5 out of 6 already in the first quarter. Chris Ward, Kassan now to Sullivan. So the last goal by Rocco Mazzi does not get too many tallies. Harvey Miller has faced a lot of possessions in the cage. He has been used a lot. Backup goalie for Cheltenham is Austin Selhorn. He has seen little action. And that will go the other way. Possession Cheltenham going left to right. Jade Sioho has his eye on the prize. And that one will go out of play. Cheltenham will get the run after. No, won't. Possession PW. It was a close call, but Cheltenham has not done a good job on loose balls and ground balls. Daniel Lee has been okay on ground balls. Also, Jade Sioho has been good on ground balls. There have been occasions in which he had 9 ground balls in a game. Jade Sioho, uniform 11 in blue and gold. 1:45 to go in the first quarter. PW 4, Cheltenham 1. Sullivan with 2, Iannarelli and Mazzi with a goal apiece for the Colonials. Townsend with the lone score for Cheltenham. That one is going to be deflected. And possession Cheltenham momentarily. Now here comes Jarrett Ross. Fed it, and tripping on the play was Colin Boyle. Cheltenham looking to score 4 to score 10 goals 4 times in a season for the first time since 2011. And that one's going to be out of play. PW will get the run after. We got a minute to go in the first quarter. 4-1 PW. PW has never trailed. Again, Mike DePuppo, the head coach for Cheltenham, 5-42 entering this game. 48 seconds now in the first quarter. In the last 80 games, Cheltenham has scored 245 and allowed 1,021 entering this contest. That is an excruciating number for DePuppo and company. 30 seconds to go in the first quarter. PW up 3. It's the largest lead of the game for either team. Now we'll go inside, puts it through. Boom! Shakalaka! James Hahn joins the early fun with 22.1 seconds left in the first quarter. And it's now Plymouth Whitemarsh 5, Cheltenham 1. PW has scored each of the last 3 goals. It's a 3-0 Colonial run. The closest that has been so far was 2-1 when Alex Townsend got one in the cage for the Panthers. Now Daniel Lee again in blue and gold with the face-off. Has not had a lot of success, and PW has just been owning the Panthers on face-off. 6 out of 7 in the first quarter. And then after the 15 seconds are up to conclude the first quarter, we'll tell you a story about a former PW boys lacrosse player who is fighting off the field, not in a sport, but with a disease. We have a lot of fans here loving the action, as we're going to have a stick check. Suburban One Sports is the Suburban One League's premier high school sports authority, providing athletes and fans with the latest sports news, scores, and photos. Visit Suburban One Sports online by typing suburban1sports.com. Looks like we're going to get the sticks untangled. Looks like we have we have sticks that were tangled. But PW won that face-off. And now we'll have a long heave by the Panthers. And that will do it, folks. After 12 minutes, Plymouth Whitemarsh leads Cheltenham 5-1. Brandon Sullivan has 2, and also with goals for PW, Mike Anarelli, Rocco Mezzi, and James Hahn. Alex Townsend has Cheltenham's lone goal, which came at 5:13 to go in the first quarter. On April 19, 2017, 6 ABC sports reporter Jamie Apodi produced a story about 2013 Plymouth Whitemarsh graduate and current Ursinus College senior Corey Kelly. He has an off-field fight with von Hippel-Lindau syndrome. It is a rare genetic condition that causes tumors throughout the body. This disease took the life of Kelly's father 15 months ago, and his older brother and sister also have VHL. A GoFundMe page had been created to cover the cost of treatments, in which many are not covered by insurance. At first, the page raised over $15,000, and then once Apodi's story got on Action News, it had more than doubled. And of course, Corey Kelly had been a fighter at Plymouth Whitemarsh. He played both football and lacrosse at the Plymouth Meeting High School. In fact, he actually had a big helping hand in PW's first and only ever boys lacrosse playoff win. On May 15, 2012, in the District 1 first round, Plymouth Whitemarsh defeated Avon Grove 8-7 here at Colonials Stadium in overtime. Kelly had 2 goals, which included the game winner in overtime, one in which he got on a rebound himself. And another memory that proves that he's a fighter from boys lacrosse. Back on May 13, 2011, the regular season finale at Victory Field Turf, PWB Holy Ghost Prep 14-4. Kelly had a goal in which he was falling down and was able to sideline one while crashing down. So he is a fighter, and we wish nothing but the best for Kelly in his fight. So it is 5-1 Plymouth Whitemarsh. PW had won all but one of the face-offs in the first quarter. And Cheltenham momentarily had that one. It's a battle for it. And it's going to be PW ball. Each team has switched sides. PW now going left to right in white on your screens. Cheltenham now going right to left in blue and gold. Tim McHugh, the leading scorer for Cheltenham, has not scored yet. And in the cage for the Panthers is Harvey Miller. Diamond. Now there's Sullivan, puts it through. Boom! Shakalaka! Throw down the hatch. It's the third goal of the game for Brendan Sullivan. His first in the second quarter with 11:17 to go in the first half. It's a 4-0 PW win. It's now Plymouth Whitemarsh 6, Cheltenham 1. PW has scored double-digit goals just 3 times this season, including 14-3 at Quakertown April 27th. PW looking to have back-to-back double-digit goal-scoring games for the first time since last season. By the way, just to mention, Cheltenham is on a 22-game conference losing streak. Has not won Suburban 1 American since defeating Norristown 7-6 in overtime on April 25th, 2015. That was back when Norristown was still a member of Suburban 1 American. Now Norristown and Upper Merion have gone to the Pioneer Athletic Conference. 6-1. PW yet another face-off. When PW with the possession, up 5. That one is fired in there. Boom! Shakalaka! Mike Iannarelli with his second of the game. 7-1 PW with 10:42 to go in quarter 2. It's now a 5-0 run for the Colonials. And again, in the previous 17 meetings, Cheltenham had not defeated Plymouth Whitemarsh. Cheltenham is on a 3-game losing streak after a 2-game win streak. Again, Cheltenham had no wins last year. Also had no wins in 2013. In fact, in 2013, the Panthers had a total of 16 goals the whole season. And that one's going to go to PW. I think 3 for 3 on face-offs. And there have already been 9 or 10 face-offs. PW's won all but 1 so far. That is something you don't see a lot because Daniel Lee usually gets the bulk of the face-offs for Cheltenham, but not this time. 10:15 to go in the first half. PW cruising 7-1. Kenny Diamond wants to join the fun. Now feeds it in there. Puts it through. Boom! Shakalaka! 4th goal of the game for Brendan Sullivan. He does it with 10:08 to go in quarter 2. And that's the second goal. In a 34-second span, we have a timeout on the field. With 10:08 to go in quarter 2, it's Plymouth Whitemarsh in the white 8, Cheltenham in the blue 1. I'm Scott Samuel David Weiss. Glad you have joined us for this Suburban 1 action. PWHS District 1 organizes district playoffs for high schools in Bucks, Montgomery, Chester, and Delaware counties. For information regarding District 1, visit PIAAD1.org. That's PIAAD1.org. For Plymouth Whitemarsh, that's 108 goals on the season, allowing 94 if you include today's. In fact, PW in 2016, the Colonials had 215 goals and allowed 129. Entering this game, Away from Wyncote, Cheltenham had been 2-3, scoring only 35 and allowing 64, while the Colonials in Plymouth meeting this season had been 2-4, scoring 48 and allowing 48. And again, Cheltenham's Tim McHugh, which may have scored in every game this season, has not put one in the cage yet. He has 23 goals in his last 5 games. Tim McHugh is uniform 12 in blue and gold. And it has not been smooth sailing for Harvey Miller in the cage. In fact, in the last 3 games, he had to make 16, 9, and 9 saves. Earlier in the season, he had a 13 save effort in a 6-5 win at New Hope Salisbury on March 30th, which had been Cheltenham's first win since 2015. And there's the face-off. And it's going to be yet another face-off won by PW that may already be the 10th one. If we had 11 face-offs already, that's 10 out of 11 for the Colonials, and we have 10 minutes to go in the first half. PW already with 3 goals in this quarter, and that one's going to be shot wide left. PW will maintain possession. Brendan Sullivan has 4 goals. Mike Anarelli has 2. And solo goals by Mozzie and Hahn for the Colonials. Alex Townsend had Cheltenham's lone goal with 5:13 to go in the first quarter. That's going to be out of play. PW wins the one after. There's Kenny Diamond. There's Mike Anarelli. That is off the cage. Possession Cheltenham. Jarrett Ross lost control. Here comes Christopher Den. And now there's Jade Sioho. Sioho had a goal in the April 26, 17-6 loss against Springfield. This season, Cheltenham has just 80 goals, which is more than any of the past 4 seasons. Had 61 last year, 32 in 2015, 57 in 2014, and just 16 in 2013. The Panthers had 16 and gave up 237 4 years ago. Possession now for Jock Fisher, who is a senior attacker. Now we are in the end zone. Now Tim McHugh could not handle it, and it will be now with Vince Martina, and there's a batted ball that's going to go back to Cheltenham. 8:26 to go in quarter 2. Plymouth Whitemarsh 8, Cheltenham 1. PW's on a 6-0 run. PW looking to win 2 games in a row for the first time this year. Cheltenham has not lost 4 in a row since that 25-game losing streak, which spanned from the end of April 2015 to March of 2017. Now here's McHugh, senior, spinning around, lost control of it, and it will go to Will Malley for Plymouth Whitemarsh. He's to the left. Now PW has it. Vince Martina will clear the zone. We have a few substitutions, which includes Ward for PW and Sioho for the Panthers. Out of play, PW gets the run after. PW on offense going left to right. Vince Martina could not get the feed. It's out of play. Cheltenham ball. Cheltenham is about 8.5 miles away from Plymouth Whitemarsh High School. Cheltenham is in Wyncote, Pennsylvania. And of course, from April 27th to 29th, along with busy PW sports schedule, you have the National Football League draft on the Ben Franklin Parkway at the Art Museum, and also the Penn Relays at University of Pennsylvania's Franklin Field. Philadelphia Eagles in the first round selected guy out of Tennessee. And it's 8-1 PW with 7:11. Clock has been stopped. Clock needs to run again. Cheltenham ball is 7:05 to go in half one. Cheltenham has given up the last 6 goals. Now Cheltenham with its ground ball. And it will remain with the Panthers. The Eagles selected Derek Bennett. He's a pass rusher out of the University of Tennessee with the 14th overall pick in the 2017 draft. Now here's Tim McHugh. And Cheltenham loses control. Colin Boyle, who has 8 goals in the last 4 games, couldn't handle it. Jock Fisher. Now it's inside, but it is stolen away by Vince Martina. Martina's now going to clear midfield. Daniel Lee is on him. Colin Kissan. There's Sullivan. Now Martina. Martina also has Chris Ward. We have a few players go out, including Tim McHugh and Ricky Amarin. 5:50 to go in half one. It's still 8-1 PW. PW led 5-1 after the first 12 minutes. And that one's fired and boom, shakalaka. Kenny Dye. That's actually Vince Martina with the goal. Kenny Diamond was nearby, but Martina deposited in with 5:38 to go in quarter two. Make that a 7-0 run. It's now PW 9, Cheltenham 1. PW with one more goal will have its 4th double-digit scoring output of the season, and it's only the first half still. PW looking to score double digits against Cheltenham for the 16th time in the last 18 games. We have a whistle. Wonder if we're going to do it again. And this time, it looks like Daniel Lee will not be doing the face-off. He has struggled mightily on face-offs today. We're going to have player substitution as James Hahn is coming off. Hahn had a goal in the first quarter. Now we're going to do the face-off again. 5:33 to go in the first half. 9-1 Plymouth Whitemarsh. Brendan Sullivan has 4 goals. And Arelli has 2. We have a whistle. Cheltenham gets the ball. I believe it'll be just the second time in the half. In the quarter, actually. In the half, then. First time this quarter. The face-off was won by Cheltenham. So only 2 face-offs won in the game so far. The ball was overfed, intended for Colin Boyle. And PW will get possession. PW's had possession for maybe 90% of the time already. And Cheltenham has just 1 goal. Came 5:13 to go in the first quarter by Alex Townsend. Now PW with the possession on its own side, and now we'll clear. O'Malley will feed it to Mozzie, who has a goal. Mozzie getting covered by Quentin Gibson. Diamond to Martina. That's Mozzie. PW will get the ground ball. There's Sullivan. Brendan Sullivan feeds it off, puts it to Martina. Boom! Shakalaka! Second straight goal for Martina. It's his 2nd of the game, and PW has scored double digits already. An 8-0 one with 4 4:36 to go in the first half. PW 10, Cheltenham 1. And with that goal, it is the 16th time in the last 18 meetings PW has scored double digits against the Panthers. PW has scored 20 or more goals against Cheltenham 3 times in the past 17 meetings, including April 13th, 2016, when the Colonials won 21-2 here in Plymouth meeting. PW wins another face-off. It's a ground ball. We have a trip. Do not see a flag, but it will go the other way. Going right to left will be Cheltenham. Jade Scioho lost control of the ball. As I mentioned earlier, it's also the time of the National Football League draft in Philadelphia. And during the offseason not too long ago, the Eagles signed Torrey Smith out of free agency. And it's a fun fact about him, his wife Chanel is a PW alumna. Maybe sometime we'll see Torrey Smith and family in Plymouth meeting. .353 to go in the first half. Cheltenham down 9. PW up 10-1. Martina and Anarelli have 2 goals apiece. Brendan Sullivan has 4 for the Colonials. Mazzi and Hahn also have scores for PW. Alex Townsend has Cheltenham's lone goal. It put Cheltenham down within 1 at 2-1, and Cheltenham has not scored since. Tim McHugh, who's been silent so far. We have a whistle. We have a timeout, Cheltenham. Mike DePopo has seen more than enough that he wants another timeout. And with 3:22 to go in the first half, it's Plymouth Whitemarsh 10, Cheltenham 1. Again, I'm Scott Samuel David Weiss, 2011 Plymouth Whitemarsh alumnus. This is our first sports broadcast since April 10th, 2017, which was a 10-9 Upper Moreland win over PW and girls lacrosse. And we're glad we are back on the air. We've had some schedule conflicts and weather issues, but it is a nice day here in Plymouth meeting, in the low 80s in Fahrenheit, and also sunny. So after today's game for PW, the Colonials will have 5 games remaining on schedule. May 2nd at Wissahickon, May 3rd against Lansdale Catholic, which I believe enters today 10-2, so that'll be an important game. May 4th at Hatboro Horsham, May 9th against currently unbeaten Souderton. That will be a huge game. And May 11th at Springfield, Montgomery County, which I believe has only a pair of losses. For Cheltenham, the Panthers also have 5 games remaining on the schedule. May 2nd against Abington, May 3rd against Central Buck South, May 5th at Souderton, May 9th at Upper Moreland, and May 11th against Upper Dublin. And this Cheltenham team, once upon a time, didn't play. In fact, in 2012, Cheltenham did not field a team. And of course, in 2013, Cheltenham went 0-15 and had 16 goals and allowed 237. Tim McHugh now with the possession, uniform 12 in blue and gold. McHugh looking for at least his 43rd goal of the season. McHugh will fire out of play. Cheltenham wins the one after. Jock Fisher is the first to get it. Fisher with it. 3 minutes to go in quarter 2 and the first half. Cheltenham is down 9. PW on an 8-0 run. 5 goals in the first quarter, 5 plus in the second. And that one's going to go out of play. The run after is won by Jock Fisher, or the Panthers. And Cheltenham has not been shut out in a contested game since 2015, but Cheltenham did forfeit a game to Springfield Monco last year, 1-0. But Cheltenham did not lose many players from last season. The team that went 0 2018. Cheltenham has 80 goals on the year, but has allowed 136. PW has now scored 110 and has allowed just 94. And that one was inside. You do not want to get a crease violation if you're nearby. And that one was lost in the sun for Ricky Amarim. But PW gets it back thanks to Kenny Diamond. Colin Kassan. Now to Sullivan. Sullivan getting guarded by Will Felix. Now we go behind the cage. Back to Diamond. Now Mike Iannarelli, he lost control. PW will momentarily get it back. It is kicked by Colin Boyle. And Cheltenham will get possession. 1:36 to go in the first half. PW 10. Cheltenham 1. Cheltenham in blue and gold now going right to left on your screen. Jade Sioho feeds it off to Daniel Lee. And that one is stolen away by Aaron Osofsky. And there's a whistle. We have a push. Mike the Puppo will put in Nick Aspenlater, uniform 25 in blue and gold. Now PW the possession, puts that one, bounces it. Harvey Miller did not see it. Did not go in the cage though. Sullivan with it. A minute to go in the first half. 10-1 Plymouth Whitemarsh. Puts that one in there. Boom! Shakalaka! Mike Iannarelli, for the third time in the game, scores. He had the first goal to get it started. He has added 2 since, and with 53.7 seconds to go in quarter 2, it is now Plymouth Whitemarsh 11, Cheltenham 1. Cheltenham has allowed 20 or more goals to a team just once this year. It was a 20-5 loss to Upper Darby, April 10th. Again, PW has scored double-digit goals for the second consecutive game and also second consecutive day. Now another face-off. We're 53 seconds in the first half. And so ground ball. PW gets it. And that one is through. Wow. Boom shakalaka. That was a quick one. 12-1. That was a little over 10 seconds between the Iannarelli and that one. Wow. But there were a lot of bodies there. And to be honest, that was very hard to see. That was a sneak attack and just put that one past Harvey Miller. And it's possession again for PW. Just 2 face-offs won by Cheltenham. There have been over 12 in this one. And now with 28 seconds to go in the first half, PW is up 12-1. It's a 10-0 run for the Colonials. I think PW wants to go for 20 goals in this one. Now 13 seconds left. We'll see if PW will take a shot off. Now there's Martina. Puts it in there. Denied with Sullivan. Feeds it in there. It is deflected. And that is the end of an entertaining and goal-filled first half. After 24 minutes, Plymouth Whitemarsh leads the Cheltenham Panthers 12-1, ending the half on a 10-0 scoring run. I'll tell you what, Vince Martina, Brendan Sullivan, Mike Iannarelli each had 2 or more goals in the second quarter, but Brendan Sullivan has at least 4 in the game. Iannarelli has at least 3. Alex Townsend has the lone goal that came in the first quarter for the Panthers, and also Rocco Mazzi and James Hahn had scored for the Colonials in the first quarter. We're And halftime here in Plymouth meeting. I'm Scott Samuel David Weiss. Stick around. There's more Suburban One Continental American Boys Lacrosse coming up on CITV. Stick around. Welcome back to this Suburban One Continental American Boys Lacrosse clash between the Cheltenham Panthers of Wyncote and Plymouth Whitemarsh Colonials of Plymouth meeting. Once again, I'm Scott Samuel David Weiss. Through 24 of 48 minutes, Plymouth Whitemarsh is cruising past the Cheltenham Panthers 12-1. That the last 10 goals have been scored by the Colonials. And an interesting stat, with the 12 goals, this is the first time this season Cheltenham has allowed double digits to opponents in back-to-back games. And for PW, it's only the first time this season the Colonials have scored double digits in back-to-back. The most goals PW has scored in a game this season has been 14 on 3 occasions. 14-8 against the Chamonix on March 27th, 14-1 at Upper Moreland on April 18th, and 14-3 at Quakertown on April 27th. Once again, this is the third consecutive day PW is playing a game looking to finish 2-1 on this 3-game stand. Lost here in Plymouth meeting the Upper Dublin 13-8, and then day later 14-3 win at Quakertown, and now playing Cheltenham up 11. PW will be going right to left in the white, and Cheltenham will be going left to right in the blue and gold. Now here's the face-off. Cheltenham only won 2 of them in the first half. And PW wins it. And that one is in there. Boom shakalaka! 8 seconds into it, Kenny Diamond scores. That was with 11:52 to go in the third quarter. And it's now 13-1. Make that an 11-0 run for the Colonials. Kenny Diamond had 3 goals against the Panthers the last time the two teams faced back on May 6, 2016. PW won that one 17-3. PW led 13-1 at the half in that one. In this game, led 12-1. It is now 13-1. And that one's going to be won by PW. PW not going to go quickly this time. 11:30 to go in the third quarter. 13-1 Plymouth Whitemarsh. Now here's Chris Ward. Now feeds it to Diamond. Lone goal for Cheltenham came with 5:13 to go in the first quarter by Alex Townsend. And that's going to be saved by Harvey Miller. He has not been precise today. He has been very busy this season. His backup is Austin Selhorn. And it's unclear if he's available. Cheltenham with possession now going left to right. 13-1 PW, 10:37 to go in the third quarter. And that one is stolen away, put in there, boom, shakalaka! A steal and go for Brendan Sullivan. That's at least his 5th. 10:20 to go. In quarter 3, it's now 14-1 PW. That is now a 12-0 run. Sullivan had multiple goals in each of the first and second quarters. Diamond and Sullivan with the scoring so far this second half. PW with 14 goals. It ties for the most in any game this season. 4th time this season PW has reached 14 goals, the 2nd consecutive game. Looking to go for a season high 15. That's going to be in play still on the ground ball. PW had won it, but Cheltenham got possession. So Cheltenham got the ground ball on that face-off. PW got the face-off, but because Cheltenham had possession that time, it was just the third time that they won control off of a face-off in the game, I believe. Now Colonial possession. Colonials on a 12-0 run, up 14-1 on Cheltenham. Cheltenham is known more for basketball. Back in the 2016-17 season, Cheltenham claimed 4th place in the district playoffs in 6A. Guess who the Panthers lost to in the 3rd place game? PW. And that one is going to be denied. It was the 3rd straight season PW finished undefeated at CES Gym for boys basketball. Regular season and postseason. That's incredible. And it's unclear how much longer PW is going to be playing at CES Gym with the proposal of tearing down Gym West and rebuilding it for a new gym. 8:10 to go in quarter 3. And that one's going to be off the piping. It's going to remain with Cheltenham. 8 minutes to go in quarter 3. 14-1 Plymouth Whitemarsh. PW with a 2-0 run in this quarter. There are 4 quarters, 48 minutes in total. We have a whistle. It will go the other way. A violation against Cheltenham. And Cheltenham's looking like the Panthers of old, not what had started the first half of the season on a different but possibly high note. Cheltenham loses will be its 4th straight. Be its longest since losing 25 straight. From 2015 to the first game of this season. It was a part of 2015, and that one was going to be attempted to be fed for the Colonials and could not cash in by Christian Zernicki. The possession, Cheltenham. I think it's Daniel. Is it Daniel Lee? Or is it Felix? Maybe Felix, who gave it to Miller, and now there's Jarrett Ross. Now Panthers with it. Jade Sioho. Sioho could not get his grip. Gets it back. Here's Tim Mayhew. Surprisingly, we haven't called his name often today. Tim Mayhew is coming off a 3-goal performance in a 17-6 loss against Springfield Monco on April 26. He does not have a goal today. And he has scored in possibly every game so far to our knowledge. With at least 42 goals, he has none today, Tim Mayhew. Now there's Daniel Lee. A lot of loose bodies. Now PW gets it. 6 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Plymouth Whitemarsh up 14-1. The Colonials led 15-1 in after the first 12 minutes. They outscored the Panthers 7-0 in the 2nd quarter, and are currently scoring in this 3rd quarter 2-0. Almost a 3-0 run to start the half there. Cheltenham is now with the ground ball, going left to right, out of play. I think PW gets it. I believe that was lost by Will Felix. Now Colonials with it will fire off the stick of Harvey Miller and will remain with Plymouth Whitemarsh. And Brian Gregg, the head coach for PW's in his 3rd season. 28-21. Mike DePuppo, the head coach for Cheltenham. He's 5-42. 4 of those wins came this season. He had 0 last year and went 1-17 in 2015, his first season. And that one win in 2015 was a 7-6 overtime win against Norristown, April 28th, 2015. How about that? 2 years to the day, the last time Cheltenham won a league game. Whether Cheltenham loses this one, it'll be 23 consecutive conference losses. PW looking to improve to 6-7 and 4-1 in the conference. PW has not had a winning record at all this season. And I'd like to get within one game of 500. And that one is in there. Boom! Shakalaka! Zach Beline with his first goal possibly of this game. His first of the quarter. And with 4:15 to go in the quarter, it's now 15-1 PW. And we have a running clock because PW is leading by a huge amount of goals. It's a 14-goal lead and make that now a 13-0 PW run with 3:55 to go in the third quarter. PW has now scored a season high 15 goals, and we still got 3:48 to go in the third quarter. And we still got a 12-minute fourth quarter in front of us. PW with 5 more goals will get to 20. And Cheltenham has given up 20 goals just once this season, 20-5 at Upper Darby on April 10th. And that one's finally going to be won by Cheltenham. Now goes inside, it is off the stick. PW will not get possession. It will be Cheltenham. Possession, Panthers now in the end zone, where football would be. 15-1 PW with 3 minutes to go in quarter 3. Now the ground ball is picked up by Rocco Mazzi. Last goal was by Zach Beline for PW. Now in front, puts it through. Boom! Shakalaka! Christian Ziernicki puts the Colonials' 4th goal in the quarter with 2:42 and counting to go in the third quarter. It's now PW 16, Cheltenham 1. Clock will run now. PW up 15. And the largest differential for PW in a win this season had been 13 when defeat Upper Moreland 14-1 in Willow Grove on April 18th. It's now a 15-goal lead. How about a 14-0 run? PW had it, but the Panthers got it. That's going to be a violation. It's going to be Cheltenham possession. Uniform 12, Tim McHugh with it. Still looking for his first goal. He has over 40 on the season. And we have a flag, delayed penalty coming. There's Tim McHugh. And we have a penalty. And if it's against PW, it'll be the first power play for Cheltenham. It is a slash on the Colonials. And I think it was on 22, which would be Ricky Amarim, the Providence College commit. He has a few years to go until college, so we'll have plenty of time to get some seasoning. So on the power play is Cheltenham. And that one's going to go to midfield. That is not a good use of handling. And it's going to be PW possession. So PW in the white with it. And that one was lost out of play. We got 35 seconds on the running clock to go in the third quarter. 16-1. PW scored 4 goals so far this quarter and may end up that way. It'll be Cheltenham ball. Miller will heave it. Daniel Lee has it. Cheltenham loses the ball. 12 seconds to go in the third quarter. 16-1 PW. Colonials on a 14-0 run. Now there's 5 seconds. It looks like O'Malley. And he's just going to run it out. We're for 36 minutes of regulation. For 3 quarters, PW Colonials 16, Cheltenham Panthers 1. Kenny Diamond, Brendan Sullivan, Zach Beline, and Christian Ziernicki had solo goals apiece in that third quarter. Again, PW is on a 14-0 run. The lone goal today for Cheltenham scored with 5:13 to go in quarter 1 by Alex Townsend. And again, I'm Scott Samuel David Weiss, 2011 Plymouth Whitemarsh alumnus. The last time PW scored 20 or more goals in a game came against these Panthers back on April 13th, 2016. Here in Plymouth meeting, it was 21-2 Colonials. Colonial Instructional Television is the Colonial School District's educational network serving Plymouth Township, Whitemarsh Township, and Conshohocken Borough, or Channel 28 on both Comcast Cable and Verizon Fios. For more information regarding CITV, visit us online, www.colonialsd.org/community/CITV. You can find out our programming, including the schedule with upcoming events. In fact, we're not too far away from the Colonial Middle School Patriot Classic in June. The Patriot Classic, I believe, began in 2005. The first teacher versus student game was won by the students. I think it was a one-possession game. A game winner in the first ever Patriot Classic had been won by Mike Barbie when he was in 8th grade. Mike Barbie went on to play for Jim D'Onofrio's varsity boys basketball team at Plymouth Whitemarsh. And during Barbie's time at PW, the Colonials boys basketball team made the state semifinals twice, including a senior year. Also, the Colonial Middle School sang the national anthem at the Philadelphia Phillies versus Atlanta Braves game back on Sunday, April 23rd, 2017. That was the game in which the Phillies won 5-2. And in the 8th inning of that one, that was when Cesar Hernandez, Aaron Altair, and Odubel Herrera went back-to-back-to-back in home runs. Just the 8th time in Phillies history that happened. So maybe Colonial Middle School students should sing the national anthem more often at Citizens Bank Park. 11:45 to go in regulation. Colonials up 16-1. As PW, I believe, won that face-off. Face-offs have been dominated by PW, but it's Cheltenham possession. Harvey Miller still in goal for the Panthers. PW has 16, which is the largest amount of goals the Colonials have scored this season. In the last 26 hours, PW has outscored its opponents 30-4. And Cheltenham will now run on the side. And now will fire it, and that is a save. And Plymouth Whitemarsh has possession. Cheltenham still without a goal since Alex Townsend with 5:13 to go in the first quarter. 10:50 to go in regulation. PW up 16-1. Brendan Sullivan has at least 5 goals to lead all Colonials. Once again, Tim McHugh, uniform 12 in blue and gold, scoreless. He has at least 42 goals on the season, has 0 today. That is a developing story. That'd be an impressive win for PW to hold one of the conference's hottest scorers at bay. Now a lot of stick handling. And PW has not scored 20 since defeating Cheltenham last year 21-2, April 13, 2016. Now that's a loss of the ball. PW gets it back. 9:53 to go in regulation. The clock will continue to run as long as PW has this large lead. Of course, when we get to the 2-minute mark, stalling rules could be in effect, but since PW is up by over 5 goals, neither team will be forced to keep the ball in the goal area. That will be at the final 2 minutes of the game. And that one's going to be bounced behind the goal. Out of play, PW gets the run after. PW has no goals in this fourth quarter. Had outscored the Panthers in the third quarter 4-0. PW is in no hurry to score. I'm sure Colonials would like to put 20 up. Get some confidence heading into its game against Wissahickon in Ambler on May 2nd. Wissahickon isn't having a strong season as it usually would, but you would like to go in there strong, and that one's in there. Boom! Shakalaka! And I believe that's Zach Beline with another one, at least his second of the game. 8:36 to go in regulation. Make that now a 15-0 run. It is now 17-4.
Yeah?
17-4. It is 17-1. There was a scoreboard malfunction temporarily, but we got that taken care of. It's 17-1. PW has outscored Cheltenham now on a 15-0 run. Possession now, Cheltenham. So Zach Beline has 2 of PW's last 3 goals. 7:40 to go in regulation. 17-1. Plymouth Whitemarsh is the largest amount of goals PW has scored this season. Now Cheltenham in PW territory, looking to get on the board for the first time since quarter 1. The last time PW had 17 goals had been against Cheltenham on May 6th of last year, 17-3. So the last 2 times PW had an output like this had been against the Panthers. That's called dominating a team. And there's a ground ball. PW's going to win it. Now we got 6:50 to go in regulation. PW up 17-1. That's right, PW is up 16 and is on a 15-0 run. The closest this game had been was 2-1. A little past the halfway point in the first quarter. All Mike the Puppo could do was just watch and plan for the next game. Only once this season had Cheltenham scored just 1 goal in a game, and that was the 8-1 loss against Wissahickon on April 7th. And the lone goal of that game was by Tim McHugh, who has been held at bay without a goal today. And that's probably what happens when McHugh is not going. The team won't go overall. Harvey Miller now got to be careful he don't go too far for a violation. This is very dangerous because that ball was deflected. Miller's going to jog back. It's going to be PW possession, so Miller's got to hurry up and get back to his post at the cage. Now, at least Cheltenham's only 8.5 miles away from Plymouth Whitemarsh High School, because it's going to be a grueling ride back in a way that PW has out-hustled and outperformed the Panthers. But there's 5:23 to go in regulation. And the clock will be running even after a goal is scored due to this large lead by PW, up 16. Just 5 goals in the second half for PW after putting up 12 in the first 24 minutes. Now there's Jock Fisher, 23 in blue and gold. Only been 2 power plays in this game, 1 for each team. Colin Boyle, who has scored in 4 consecutive games. That streak will be at an end if they don't score. Here's Tim McHugh. And that's going to be won by the Colonials. Ground ball won by Rocco Mazzi. Well, not Rocco. Now there's Mazzi. W will go after the ground ball. Getting guarded by Quentin Gibson. 4 minutes to go in regulation. PW's up 17-1 on Cheltenham. Cheltenham's going to drop to 4-8 and 0-5 in Suburban 1 Continental American PW. With its second straight win, will go to 6-7 and 4-1 in the conference. And to finish 2-1 in a 3-day span of 3 consecutive games should be respectable, but also PW knows that it's got to be better. So PW this week lost 13-8 against Upper Dublin, won 14-3 at Quakertown, now leading 17-1 against Cheltenham Panthers. 3:15 to go in regulation. So again, I'm Scott Samuel David Weiss, video technician for the Colonials School District is Tom Peeler. So I'd like to thank the students who have come out to help run our show today. And that one's going to be out of the play. We have a flag. It's going to be a penalty against the Colonials. It's going to be the second power play of the game for Cheltenham. So player up for the Panthers. Clock did stop, though, for that. So 2:34 to go in regulation. Plymouth Whitemarsh 17, Cheltenham 1. Until this quarter, Brandon Sullivan had at least a goal in each quarter. Zach Beline has the lone goal in quarter 4. There's Tim McHugh. McHugh will fire it out of play. In the first 5 games this season, McHugh had 19 goals. In the last 5, he had 23. He had 10 goals in the last 2 games, Tim McHugh, including 7 against Quakertown in 9-8 overtime loss on April 21st. That's going to be thrown out of play, caught by Brendan Sullivan on the sidelines, but it'll be PW possession nonetheless. 1:45 to go in regulation. PW up 17-1. Going left to right. Cheltenham going right to left on offense. Rocco Mazzi. Christian Zernicki, who has at least a goal in this one. He had a goal of 2:42 to go in quarter 3. It's going to go to Cheltenham with 1:23. We have some rowdy sidelines. Harvey Miller with the possession. Looks like some of his teammates trying to get the attention. McHugh, wow, catches it. Tried to catch it from midair. Could not, and he's just saying, why am I not doing anything right? And of course, we have under a minute to go. We do not have the stall rules. Neither team will be forced to keep the ball in because the Colonials are up by over 5. PW cannot get that ball in. And PW is up 17-1 with 38 seconds to go. A great victory. Not bad in the last 26 hours to outscore the competition 31-4. Now we have 19 seconds. I think the sidelines just want to see teammates score. 10 seconds now. PW can just wind the clock out. We got 6 seconds to go, and Plymouth Whitemarsh is going to improve to 6-7 and have a winning streak for the first time this season. And that is all, folks. Final score here from Colonial Stadium. Plymouth Whitemarsh 17, Cheltenham 1. PW ended the game on a 15-0 scoring one dating back to the first quarter. Brendan Sullivan had at least 5 in this one. Vince Martina had multiple goals. Iannarelli had multiple goals. Rocco Mazzi, James Hahn, Zach Beline, Christian Zernicki, they also joined the party. It was just all in all a great effort for the Colonials, who finish the week of April 24th 2-1, and with 5 games to go, still have a shot at perhaps 9th straight postseason berth. So final score here, Plymouth Whitemarsh in the white, 17, Cheltenham in the dark 1. That's another edition of CITV Sports. I'm Scott Samuel David Weiss. Again, please visit us online, www.colonialsd.org/community/CITV. Have a great weekend, everyone.